Okay, all right. As promised, Kevin Harding coming no time soon, but I have Bishop Aaron Townsend and Lady Lisa Townsend. How y'all doing?
Doing great.
Y'all look a little appalled. See, they ready, I guess. So, before we get into the questions and the games, tell me a little bit about yourself, Dr. Townsend. And by the way, I might call him Pops. This is my uncle. I'm gonna call her Auntie. So just get with the program.
Thank you, sir. Born and raised here in the city of Chicago, the great state of Illinois, and came up in the Inglewood community. When they said that there was nothing good can come out of there, but they have been proven wrong. And the Lord has blessed me now to be in the Avalon community where I pastor and been pastoring now for 24 years.
Okay. Auntie?
Well, my name is Lisa Townsend, and I am the First Lady of Ford Temple United Churches of God in Christ. I am the eldest child of Bishop Chester L. McLaurin Jr. and Pastor Roslyn McLaurin. And I love the Lord.
Okay. So the theme of the show, the theme of the month is why did I get married? A lot of people want to get married. Like myself, I wanted to get married to her until I heard all of y'all why y'all got married. So now I'm reconsidering the timing. But I want to know, why y'all got married. So first of all, how did y'all meet?
We met through your grandfather, the first assistant presiding bishop of the United Churches of God in Christ worldwide headquarters is in the great city of Atlanta, Georgia. And we was asked to come and minister fellowship at the Emmanuel Bible Center. And upon coming there, my eyes was fixed on a young lady who I thought that was already married. And I kept her walking, but soon after that, she wanted to give me her phone number.
She wanted to give you her number?
Oh, yes.
So how'd she do it? Because, back then, I don't know what kind of phones we had, but did she write it down on a bulletin?
I'm kind of getting on up there in age.
Did she write it on the church fan?
I don't remember. Do you remember how you give me your phone number?
Christian, go up there and get Bishop Townsend his fan. Tell him to read it. How did you do it?
Well, I don't remember giving you.
Nobody remember.
My phone number. What I remember is us talking on the phone because of a request that was given by the pastor to give you a call, and that's where the ball really started to roll.
Oh, thank you, Pastor. Which pastor was that?
Pastor Bishop. Oh. CLM.
Oh, okay. So he knew what he was doing already. Okay.
So Papa basically connected y'all.
Yes.
Okay, cool. What was the attraction? What made them different to the point where, besides, because people can try to connect you with people, but if you don't click with them, you just don't click with them. So what, led to the attraction to you actually marrying him?
Well, first of all, he was a good listener. He can keep a conversation, but the most thing that really stuck out to me is that he had a sense of humor. He kept me in stitches.
Right.
So because
I think he keeps the world in stitches, but that's good that you have your own personal stitch keeper.
Oh yes. So that was one of the main things that was attractive to me to him, and as I said, because he was a good person that would listen and we could talk. He was a person that we would talk a long time. So that's what really started to get the ball rolling, is us talking. And then from there, here we are.
50 years later.
No.
So how did it work being a pastor at the time where I don't think you were a bishop, you was a pastor at the time, right?
Yes.
So how did that work, balancing the church, work, and then a young lady?
When you meet a young lady such as the former Lisa McLaurin, you have to make time, because if you don't make time, you will later regret that you didn't make time. Working, we both worked at full-time job. Sometimes we would talk, and I may have to work overnight. Lisa would talk to me sometimes to 2, 3 in the morning, and it would keep me on my feet to be able to perform my job performance. And she said, I got to get off here because I got to get up in the next couple of hours. And we would just talk. My late mother used to tell me, she said, each time I call you, y'all on the phone, y'all talking so much that if the Lord should ever bless y'all to get married, y'all have been talked so much you won't have nothing to talk about. But I'm here to say that Mama was wrong on that. We're still talking after all these years later.
So this coming July, you will be making 10 years as a married couple. What kept y'all together for 10 years, Auntie?
I would say commitment, dedication, prayer, having a desire to work it out. It is not easy. Marriage is not easy, but it is possible if you want to work and if you are committed to the relationship. As I would say that first, one of the things that Bishop Townsend and myself, what we did is first we were friends. And I believe that any couple that desires to want to be married, first they have to start out being friends.
Yeah.
And when you begin to be friends and have fun together and be real with each other, don't put on that facade. Please don't put on that facade. Be yourself, and that will develop into something that is amazing.
And you said be yourself. How has that helped you? Because a lot of people, the first conversations, you got to wait until a couple weeks to see a person's, when they get upset or when they get, angry. How did that help you, being yourself from the get-go, so that 10 years later, how did that help you in your marriage?
Well, I'm not a person that can hide my feelings, first of all. So
right, I think I know that.
Yeah, I know you do.
Is she right?
So,
Absolutely.
So, that's just a common thing. But if you don't be yourself and you be someone else, how are you going to remember what you was before?
Right.
So it's best to be yourself, because if you don't be yourself, then you are not being truthful to, and it's not fair to the other person.
Right.
Because you will want them to be fair to you and to be themselves for you.
What is one of your most memorable but yet hilarious moments together?
I would have to say,
you're the best. I think at the whole family, you're the best for stories. He has a gift. I believe it's a gift, because a talent is something people can just do. But he has a gift of just not even having to be at a place, but once you tell him a story one time, he just creates his own imagination and he remembers it verbatim as if he were there. So tell me, what's one of the best memories that you have?
I believe it was your auntie said to me that we were just friends, and then from there we became sister and brother.
Oh, she hit you with the sis and bro.
Right. And following that, your grandfather asked your grandmother, what is going on with Lisa and Pastor Townsend? And your grandmother stated, they're just friends. And I had a late church mother by the name of the late Mother Johnny Mae Richmond at the time. And the late Mother Johnny Mae Richmond says to Bishop Chester Lee McLaurin, we too old of a cool. they can't fool us. And so the most hilarious part of it was I thought we were just friends. And I don't know from that time when it kicked in from friend, and your grandfather said, if these lying wonders come and say they anything but friends, I'm going to tell them to get on the altar. And I think he forgot it, and I have not reminded him since then.
What about you? Because I know you probably have the most.
Oh, yes. I do. But the one that came to mind that we were together, and actually your aunt Diana was with us, and we were somewhere, and your uncle said, "Oh, isn't that Bishop T.D. Jakes?" And then we looking around like, who? And then we like, I don't know. So then, things happen. We were just walking together. So he said, won't y'all go up and ask him, the T.D. Jakes? So we were like, no, we don't watch this man. So he goes to the man and said, would you please tell them that you're not T.D. Jakes? And he was looking at your Aunt Diana, and she said, I'm gonna get you back. That was one of the most hilarious things.
One of my famous stories is we went to a fast food restaurant, and I'm not really sure what happened, but my summary is somebody got smart. And I think he asked for an icy or something that somebody wanted. Because how it is when we usually go somewhere, we make sure we don't eat. When I say you, Auntie Diane said you did not just tell that story.
Absolutely.
But when we go, me and Christian, when they say y'all go with Auntie Lisa and Uncle Aaron, we don't eat. We purposely get in the car starving because we know that we gonna eat at least three times, and we ain't gonna have to, and we not gonna have to pay a dime. We just he pull up and say, what y'all want? So I know one time we got out of church and we went to Burger King, and I don't know what happened, but I know somebody made him upset. They got smart with him, so he said, pull up to the window. He said, bring your manager to the window. And she started talking, and he pulled up to the window, and he said, you know what? I think he had just became a bishop, or he was a bishop for maybe a couple years after that. But he said, I'm a bishop. You don't talk to me any kind of way. So then the manager came, and the manager was like, sir, what's going on? He said, you know what? That's very disrespectful. I come in this community too much for y'all to be disrespecting me like this. And he said, why are you bothering me? And the man says, sir, I'm not doing anything. And it's been like that. Like we have like 6 or 7 of those stories, I promise you God. So we're going to ask the Townsend some more questions, get some more information. And once we come back, and we just hope y'all stay on and enjoy it. Just another day with the Townsends. This is Straight Talk with your boy Ken. And on break, we were just reminiscing, telling funny stories. But we're going to get back to the questions. I do want to hear another story that my auntie has to say. That is hilarious. But Pops, name one thing that makes you smile, when you think about your wife. Don't grin too hard now. Just name one thing.
One thing that makes me smile when I think about my wife is one that loves to beat the tambourine in the church. And don't care where she's at. She don't care about her title, her status. Give her tambourine and move out of her way, and she's gonna show you how to have some show enough church.
Now we had your sister. First of all, we had your younger sister here, my mom and Henry. They were here, and then the week before last, we had Mr. Tony Pruitt here, and he had church.
Did he have church?
He lost. He said. I said, tell me one thing. What did I say? I said, I forgot what I said, but he said, my wife is fine. And I said, say it again. He said, she's fine. And I said, say it again. He said, she's fine and she's all mine. And then he was talking about, some of his experience, because just like she waited, he waited as well. And he said, yeah, that's what he said. He said he endured being called different things, and And how did that? How different is that for your case? Marrying a bishop's daughter, like how is that marrying somebody in the church, active in the church? Because it's a little different with Elder Angela and Elder Tony.
Marrying a bishop's daughter in the church was a plus to me as being the pastor and the founder for a temple. It was prophesied that God was creating my rib, and my father-in-law, late father, told him that it's nice the way you're training her to do this or to do that as far as a preacher help. Unfortunately, she would not be there doing that for you. She'd be wiping another man's head. And he said, "Oh no!" And then, Lord behold, Bishop Townsend come, and it has been a blessing to the ministry on all aspects. She's a good organizer. She's a good worker. She just brings things to Fort Temple as far as with the women's ministry. She's a Pastor A plus. She also helped me as a nurse aide, secretary, you name it. And I could not have asked for a better administrator or supporter than the elect lady, Dr. Lisa Marie Townsend.
So how was that marrying a pastor? Because you didn't come, he kind of, how I felt, when y'all first got together, I must admit that I was I was excited, I was young.
Right.
But seeing that she wasn't there like she was before with praise and worship and things like that, I was mad at you.
Oh, no.
I said, no, he didn't come in here and just take my doggone auntie like this. And then
I didn't take her. She wanted to go. You didn't know that?
And Christian said, that's right. I was being young, you don't understand the whole, you don't understand everything, I'm thinking when she got married, she'd be visiting your church occasionally.
The devil's a lie.
But she would still be leaving.
A lie.
They explained to me like, no, she's not coming back. And you know what? I didn't like you for about a few days. I think I didn't like you until you bought me the next meal when we went to and then I said, I guess I could. I guess I could look past this. Ain't gonna be.
So you got bought with a meal.
Hey, sorry, auntie. Food is the key.
Wow.
But how how did that feel? Because I felt upset. I said she was the life of this church. When she got up, she made you stand up. If you didn't stand up, clap your hands. And then don't turn on a fast song and she get that. And then what I loved was we were playing the drums even then. And what she would try to do was she would try to call herself keeping us on track with the tambourine. She said, hold on. This is how you do it. And I said, auntie, you off beat. No, I'm not. You off beat. So how was that, leaving your church, going to serve somebody else's? Or your husband's, not somebody else?
In the beginning, it was hard. It was challenging.
Because you missed being bossy to us, the musicians. That's why.
Of course. Yes. It was because it was different. I was in a comfort zone. And it was something that I was used to doing. So now I come into unfamiliar territory in a way of speaking, but it was another chapter in my life. And I just had to take one day at a time to adjust. It was a very adjustment period, but any new thing, any new step, any new avenue that you go into, it's going to take an adjustment period. And if you have God in relationship with God, God would help you to get to that adjusting period where you begin to feel comfortable, where you begin to find that place of where you are comfortable, and do whatever you were doing in the previous to where you are now. See, I'm a praise at heart, so it whatever I did at Emmanuel, I can do it for a temple.
And that's what made me upset, because I thought you should be doing that Emmanuel and not be doing it somewhere else.
It was my time to exit so someone else can go in, and because I could be that was my time when I was there. Now it was somebody else's time to come in and to grow and to help the ministry. So everybody has a specific time in their life where they have to move on.
Yeah, that sounds good now, but 10 years ago I wouldn't have wanted to hear nothing. I wouldn't have wanted to hear none of that.
I'm sure.
But no, I understand. How was it with being a pastor? Because I never had a pastor's wife on the show. But how was it with? I hear a lot of pastors' wives have problems if they're not there from the beginning, because they feel they have to, not in their marriage, but with the women of the church and things like that. Like how did you have to? Did you have any cautions about this? Like, Aaron, this is the rules, Aaron. You ain't single no more, Aaron, because he was a pastor before. So, he was single. So women could call him at 10 and he would, be able to pray and stuff like, so how was that, transitioning to now I'm single in March and now in July I'm married. So you have to do this differently.
Well, see, one thing that I did is that I just didn't wait until I got married to go to his church, Ford Temple at that time, and to the different various churches. I was there. I was present. And because I was confident in myself that I was there with him, so people would see me more frequently before we got married. So that made it easier to transition in. So when we got married, it was established by Bishop Townsend. He made the transition easier for me. So I had already, with the members of Ford Temple, I had already started to begin a relationship with them. So we would go out and when we would go out to eat, we would laugh and we would joke, and when we would take people home, we all would be together. So it was not, in that aspect, it was not oh my God, what am I going to do this? So it wasn't like that. And as I said, Bishop Townsend made the transition smoother. So that's important. That's important as a pastor, that he laid the foundation, and he said to the members, this is my wife, and this is what I expect. And what he expected from them, there's also he expected something from me. So it wasn't just a one-sided. We had to have balance. So as I said, he made the transition smoother, and that, as I said again, that is so important in the relationship when you are marrying a pastor, that if they make it easy for you and be with you and support you, then the transition would go much, much smoother.
So you didn't just come in, wake up one day and was the first lady. You actually was there before, meeting with the members. So y'all had a chemistry before y'all even got married.
Yes.
What would you, what advice would you give to a couple contemplating marriage?
First of all, to do what the Word of God says, and that is according to Proverbs, the 3rd chapter, 5th through the 6th verse, and that is to trust in the Lord with all thy heart. Lean not to thy own understanding, in all thy ways to acknowledge the Lord, and he shall direct thy path. Need to develop a prayer relationship with each other. Pray for who it is that you expect to be your spouse. Don't just wait till you get married to begin to pray. Prayer is the key foundation for a happy home, and that doesn't mean that you're living in a fairy tale world, and that does not mean that you're not going to have ups and downs, ins and out. As the wife said, you must first be committed to, as you take your vows, you said, for better or for worse. There's going to be some better days, and there's going to be some worse days. For better, for worse, for rich or poor, for sickness and in health. And so if you start off with prayer being the focal of your relationship, and you acknowledge God, you cannot go wrong.
What do you suggest?
I suggest that you have a good communication between one another, that you talk about everything.
Everything.
talk about everything first. Because see, if you talk about everything, what if you do this? What if I do this? This, that? Then that opens up, how the other person feels. You may think that person feels one way, and they may feel another way. And we pray that they be honest. But one thing that my mom always told me: however you start, that's how you should finish. And in the beginning, communication is so much important. Is to communicate. If you cannot communicate, then you're going to have a serious problem, and not just in dating, but in the relationship. And you, as Bishop has said, you have to have a personal relationship with God. You personally, because that relationship is going to help you, is going to direct you, is going to guide you, is going to show you how to be committed, because that's what's going to take: commitment, dedication. You have to have that, and honesty and trust. It is a must. That's not an option. It is a must.
So, about the communication thing, has that been, because you got your fan base right here, you got my mama saying absolutely, she's saying right. like Granny, and then Granny said yes, communication is key. How long did it take you? Because I know a lot of times, being a male myself, communication is not easy. You know, I think sometimes it's easier for certain people, but how much of a process was that for you?
It was a process, because I could say one thing, but my husband might interpret it differently, and he might have a different understanding, and I might say, well, what do you mean by that? And then we have to keep talking to make sure that we both get an understanding of what each other is saying. You're not going to master it the first year, the second year, the third year, but it's going to get better. It's going to get better. You continue, because then after you do trial and error, you begin to see what mistakes you made. Well, okay, let me try it this way. Let me approach it this way to him. And you say, do you understand? And then they say, well, not exactly. And then you have to make sure that the other person understands what you're saying. And then sometimes if they repeat back what you said, then you know that person has a good understanding of what you said. So, yeah.
So how do you keep the romance alive after 10 years? Because I know.
Oh, he has no problem with that.
Elder Tony Pruitt. Now, hold on. Now, don't be
he
talking
has
about he has
no problem with that. None whatsoever. Just to give you an example, and I can answer that. We just went we just passed Valentines Day, and I didn't think we were going to be able to celebrate it because we had made a previous commitment. And this is how my husband does different things, and that's what I appreciate about him. He was at work. He called me at 12 o'clock. It was after 12 o'clock on February 14th to come open the door. Now he has his own key.
To where?
To the house. To the house. He was out working, and then he calls me, and I'm like, why did I have to open the door? I'm up asleep. So I said, okay, fine. So I go and answer the door, and he has he has a big teddy bear. He has my favorite color, pink, and it's a different things. It's a vase, and then it's a champagne glass, and then there's some other goodies in there. Other goodies that are there. I had jewelry and everything. So he surprised me, and I was just taken by surprise because he always does something different.
Yeah, that's what Elder Tony Pruitt was saying. That he I don't know. I can't remember verbatim, but he was just like, I still treat her like she's my girlfriend, and I just
got to keep it.
Yeah, so that's good. And I noticed that on Christmas, everybody gets a gift. Everybody gets, Kendall, here's your gift. Christian, here's your gift. But this Christmas, I think I got 2 gifts from y'all. But Auntie Lisa got like 7. She got a purse, she got perfume, she got lotion. Then he said, "Son, come here. go to the truck and get this other bag. So I'm thinking the bag is for, one of us. So I'm peeking in the bag. I see all women stuff. I said, oh, no. Then he get us some more stuff. Then he give different envelopes with cash.
Oh, yes.
And I'm thinking but it's not your
money,
birthday.
Money.
That's what they used to tell us. It's not your birthday. But he makes sure that, even Christmas seems like her birthday. So that's really good. What do you do?
What do? I do the little things. The little thing, and when I say
know how
the
I feel
little
about that.
things, well, he knows. So you don't have to know.
Sorry.
Hey, I feel a shundo. So the little things, and I surprise him with different things that he might say he wants here and there, and I just go. But he's a big surpriser.
So what do you do?
I get him cologne that he likes. Get a little snacks that he likes. Do little other things.
How's that?
That's wonderful.
I think you know what I think you need to do. We need to ask Elder Pruitt some of his tips, because I don't know what he said, but he said something, and I was like, I forgot what he said.
I know he gives a card every anniversary.
Oh, he remembers every
Not
anniversary. So he remembers
probably
the
a
day
card every week or day. Flowers.
He remembers every anniversary.
Right,
So
every
he
anniversary.
remembers
The first time they dated, the first time they talked, all
first time
that. Yes,
everything.
It's the dates.
Oh, well, I'm lacking that. I'm getting on up there.
That's okay. You make up in other. You make up in other ways.
So, what's one thing that makes you smile when you think about him?
One thing is being faithful and committed, and that's one of the major things that I really appreciate, because there's so many different challenges out in this world that when he's out, he's always talking about me, even when I'm not with him, because other people, they say that, Bishop always saying this, Bishop always saying, and I know how committed he is, because how he treats me at home and when we at church, I can feel that he really is not just, he doesn't just love me, but he's in love with me. And I appreciate the commitment and the dedication that he puts into this relationship. Even the good times as well as the bad times, he's still committed. And one other thing that really attracted me to Bishop was that his prayer life. He can, as a man of God, one of the things, men can pray, but it's something about Bishop Townsend. When he prays, I can really, really feel the power of God, and God has given him a spirit of prayer, and I can feel it. So that was one of the things that was attracted to me.
Well, I need to be sending you my prayer request, because sometimes I feel like when I pray, just be bounce. No, just play.
Well, how do you live?
You know what?
How we get that checklist?
We're gonna play this game. Until you just for that, you already got 1 point taken up. We're gonna play this game. It's called 5 seconds. So I'm gonna ask you a question. If you don't name it in 5 seconds, you lose. And since you got so many comments, we're gonna start with you. Start with you. All right, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Name 3 things that you love about your spouse.
Her walk with God, her love for me, and her commitment to me. Did I make it?
No, you didn't make it, but it's okay. She lost, so.
I didn't lose. I gave you mine.
Yeah, okay. She gave me 2. All right, you ready?
Yes.
Same thing. Name 3 things that you love about your spouse.
Good looks, dedication, faithfulness.
Good look, dedication, faithfulness. All right. Who's most likely to forget something?
My wife.
I'm sorry, I asked that question wrong. That was good practice for you, though, because you lost last time. Name 3 things that she's most likely to forget.
Check, money, date.
Okay. Same thing. Name 3 things that he's most likely to forget at home, at church, wherever.
Keys.
He said that didn't count. You forget your keys all the time?
No, I got them on me now.
Well, when I say that, is we could be at home and he'd be like, "Oh my God, where I put my keys?"
And it'd be right on them. It'd be right on them. All right, I know you're gonna get this one. Name your 3 favorite foods of your spouse.
My
favorite foods.
Taco.
You know what? Y'all not doing really good at this.
Brother Will, help a brother out.
3 things. Favorite foods.
Checkers, McDonald's, and Burger King.
And you better make sure that food is right at all 3. Or he gonna say, bring me a manager.
With no onions. Yes.
And with no problem. So you don't mind talking to managers, huh? If your food ain't right.
Got to tell them when you're paying your money, you ought to get the service that you're paying for.
You know what? On the way home, I want to stop just because I want to see because I know that certain McDonald's don't have nothing. It's just always a problem. So that's just my entertainment, and I'm pretty sure that if we had a YouTube channel and we recorded this, y'all would have him at every event as the open up, the host, and everything. I'm gonna give y'all one more question.
Wait a minute, my favorite sister is down there coming, and she's telling my wife, let him what?
Talk. My mom said, let him talk.
Yeah, because she done took over the whole segment. Well, go ahead.
How do you feel about that?
Oh, I'll just sit back and let her have her space.
Now, what you gonna say? You took over the whole segment?
I didn't take over the whole segment.
Somebody not gonna get no checkers. All right. Name 3 things. Name 3 things that you love about your spouse. Go.
Her love, her smile, and her looks.
Doing better now. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
3 things you love about your spouse. Go.
He surprises me, his looks, and his commitment. Oh.
But like they do in schools, and this is what I got. Well, this is what I say.
It doesn't matter.
This is what I say. It's because I don't have any gifts to give you. Everybody's a winner. They don't like that.
No.
So the question of the month is, why did I get married? Real quick, to end the show out, tell me why you got married.
Who, me?
Yeah. Oh, you didn't get married?
Oh.
Papa said, I would like a taco. Papa, we'll call you on the way home. Call me after the show. Maybe we can have a little fellowship.
Why did I get married? Real talk?
Straight talk.
I wanted to remain devoted to God. And I know that you cannot be devoted to God like God is requiring us, except you do it like the way the Bible says. And that is, marriage is honorable in all things, and the bed is undefiled.
Good answer. What about you?
Why did I get married? Because for companionship. Companionship. That's one of the reasons, and to share with someone the love that God has given us.
I think we got to stop to get food because everybody at the house
think
saying
so
they saying I would like a taco. Dad, really, me too. How you gonna say Dad really and then say me too? Well, we got to go get some tacos and go make sure that they got the food right. But we want to thank y'all.
Right.
We want to thank y'all so much for tuning in.
Get out of my face.
I have Bishop Aaron Townsend and Dr. Lady Lisa Townsend. Thank y'all so much for joining us and just helping people to understand why y'all get married. And I hope and I know for a fact that y'all help other people. This is Daniel Caesar Blessed, and I promise that if the Lord wills, I'll see you next week, same time, same station. See you next week.